Hi guys and welcome to today's tutorial. In today's tutorial we're going to look at leadership skills and ways to motivate your employees. The first thing we're going to look at is leadership. What is leadership? And leadership is basically just the ability to be able to influence people. Ability to influence people. And if you've got the ability to influence people and get people to follow like a particular path that you want them to follow, that's good leadership. And there's different styles of leadership we're going to look at now. The first style of leadership is autocratic. So autocratic leader. The second style is democratic leader. The third style is laissez-faire. Leader. And the fourth style of leadership is paternalistic. Leader. Okay, for your Leaving Cert examination, you need to know 3 styles. So the 3 styles that we're going to probably focus on is autocratic, democratic, and laissez-faire. The reason why we're going to focus on those 3 is because paternalistic is similar enough to democratic leader. Okay, so you need to know each of these leadership styles. So I need to know 3 of them. Okay, so we're going to look at autocratic leader first. The first thing about autocratic is this person likes to be in control. The second point about an autocratic leader is that no consultation. She doesn't consult with employees, with other members of staff. The third point is that about an autocratic leader is that he or she does not trust employees. So no trust in the employees. Fourth point about an autocratic leader, delegates very little. Okay, so an autocratic leader won't delegate much to their employees. And the last one is fear, is that an autocratic leader usually uses their control to fear and to motivate their staff. The next one we're going to look at is a democratic leader, okay? And the first one is that this person shares the control. So this person will share control with the employees. Second point about a democratic leader is that they will delegate work to their employees. Delegates work. The third point is that they will ask for opinions and ideas from staff. So ask staff for ideas. The fourth thing is that they will they trust their employees to do the job correctly. And the way that they control their staff is that they're very persuasive. So they will persuade staff to do a task rather than shouting and giving them orders to do it. The next one that we're going to look at is a laissez-faire leader. And this type of leader has certain characteristics. The first one is that they will delegate almost all the work to the employees. So it delegates all the work to the employees. The second point is that they interfere very little. So interferes very little. Just kind of lets the staff get on with the job. The third one is that they've got a lot of trust. So a lot of trust in their employees to do the job to the best of their ability and correctly. And the fourth one is that they let the staff kind of like set their own, set the objectives. So with this type of leadership, all the trust is placed within the staff. Okay, one thing you should know probably for each of these three leadership styles is maybe like an advantage and disadvantage for each one. Okay, so with the autocratic leader, like an advantage of this is that they will always get the work done. A disadvantage of an autocratic leader is that it can lead to like staff being demotivated and having poor staff morale because they don't. The autocratic leader will never ask the staff for any of their opinions. With the democratic leader, the benefits is that it's more of a democracy, and the decisions can be better because they ask a lot of staff, and basically like two heads is better than one. So if everyone pitches in their idea, they probably will come up with a better decision rather than just one person making a decision. The problem with this is though it can be very time consuming to make decisions. And the Les for Here one, the benefits of this is that managers are free to do other things, so this can like improve their productivity. But a problem with this is that the employees may lack direction, and it may lead to maybe staff being confused, or maybe they might be not as productive as they could be if they had more like if the targets and goals were set for them instead of them kind of setting their own targets and goals. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at is the word delegating. So with a few of these leadership styles, we said that some leaders delegate and then others, some styles of leadership don't delegate. Okay, so what is leadership and what is delegation? And delegating is when a manager gives responsibility to a subordinate so a subordinate is like an employee to carry out a task. A certain task. Okay, so it's when the manager gives the responsibility to a subordinate to carry out a particular like task, but ultimately the ultimate responsibility still lies with the manager. And we're going to look at some of the advantages of managers actually delegating, because we said that like the autocratic leader, they don't delegate, but the Les for Here delegates a lot, and democratic delegates some of their work. So we're going to look at some of the advantages of delegating. Okay, so some of the advantages of delegating, of managers delegating, is it increases efficiency. So efficiency is increased. It can lead to the manager having more time. It's an increase in time for the manager, because the manager is then freed up to do other jobs if they delegate a job to a subordinate. Experience. So the subordinate gets more experience and actually trains them and develops them as an employee, because they get to do like more like higher up like roles. It can lead to an increase in motivation for the employees. Increase motivation for the employees because they're doing jobs that is maybe like seen as like a manager kind of job. So this gives them good training and might motivate them to want to work harder. The other good thing about delegating is the manager can see how the subordinate can cope with responsibility. So I'll put responsibility. So the subordinate, because it's maybe doing like a higher, like a job role or task, they can, the manager can see how the subordinate gets on and can see if how well they cope with the responsibility. And maybe then if the position arises, the manager will have no problem in giving them the job, because they know that they've dealt with the delegation, or they've dealt with that job role before under the pressure and was absolutely fine with the responsibility. Okay, so this is some of the advantages of delegating and the workload. And just one thing to note is that there's some problems that like arise with not delegating work. And that is that, like, so an autocratic leader, they don't delegate, or they don't delegate very much. So what can happen is the management can take on too much work, and then the jobs may not get done, or maybe it might lead to a lot of stress. But it can also lead to the staff feeling very like unvalued and not really trusted, and that can lead to them then being like demotivated. Plus, it can also lead to, if the staff is then promoted in the future, they're going to have like lack of experience, because they're not going to have, everything's going to be brand new to them, because they're not going to have completed the jobs before. Whereas if you delegate and give them responsibility, then if they cope well and you promote them up to management, they will have already performed the tasks and they'll be well able to cope with the pressures. Okay, so that's it for this tutorial. We looked at leadership skills. We looked at different types of leadership styles, and then we looked at in detail each of the leadership style. If you enjoyed this tutorial, you can leave me some feedback, and also remember you can check out more of our videos on our website, examvision.ie. Thank you.